Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, October 16th here. And good morning, Tracker. Good morning, Jules. So we can just take a look at the markets, see what happened yesterday. And exactly, well, it got rejected. The SPY got rejected off that 1.618 on log scale and went down, right? So that was a kind of obvious rejection. I did talk about that yesterday, how it's possible. And right now, it kind of looks like a little temporary top. So I'm not sure if it's going to be able to break through that 585 this week, but we'll see. If we put on other indicators here, possibly the Ichimoku, we can still see that there is some ways to fall and still be very bullish. 575.38 could be the target, or it could be a little bit lower. It just depends. But nothing really exciting is going to happen until this level breaks. So that's really what I'm watching. But like I said, not sure if it's going to happen this week at all. So going to switch over to the QQQ. Same situation, right? It got rejected off of that 1.414, the 497.46. That happened on Monday. Then Tuesday, it tried to go up, and then it already retested the 488.91. So this one technically already retested support, and that's kind of good for a lot of the other names like NVIDIA and AMD and all of that. I think possibly this has a good chance of continuing higher simply because support has already been back tested. At least the first level of support has already been back tested. So the pain you saw yesterday in some of the tech, I think it kind of will be a little bit less since support is holding so far. So we're going to watch that 488.91. And if that continues to hold, then I think the possibility to go back towards resistance and try to break it will be there. And IWM, how is that looking pre-market? It is gapping up above this 786 on log scale. So there is going to be a daily candle open for the second time, right? It did open above here and then kind of went red. But the second time, it's going to open up above that 223.76 level. But that's not the level I really care about the most. I care about the linear scale one the most, and that's the 226.75. And this is, I think, the line in the sand before lots of things start to take off. So that could be for growth stocks. That could be for small caps, maybe even altcoins, crypto and stuff. I think once the linear scale 786 gets broken from resistance to a support, then I think things can start to really go higher for a lot of things. So I'm really going to be paying attention to that 226.75 to see if it can break in the near future. Not sure about this week, but possibly in the weeks to come. Okay, I see some requests coming in, but I'm going to do Tesla first because this is my routine. And so what do we see? It's at 220.26 pre-market, and there's really no change on a day-to-day basis. And it's still stuck under that 382, the 221.26, and still above the bottom of the cloud, which today will be around 216. So we'll just keep an eye on that range, and until one of those levels breaks, neither direction will be made, right? It's still going to be just stuck between resistance and support. It could stay that way the whole week, right? We don't really know, maybe until earnings. So it could just get narrower and narrower until it's ready to go. So we'll see what happens, really. But yeah, there's really no change this whole week since Friday. And weekly chart also saying the same thing. It's still above the cloud and below the 221. So that's it for Tesla. It's kind of a boring week for it. So we'll see if it can break the resistance above. Yeah, so we'll check out MicroStrategy, MSTR. So this is the levels I've been watching for MicroStrategy. It was the 1.272 on the linear scale. And it got rejected, right? It got rejected very, very hard and went right back down almost to the 886. So I was thinking maybe it's going to get there, but it's looking like it kind of maybe wants to hold this one level. So I think that's going to be the goal for the week, is just holding that one level. And I did focus on log scale too. I was talking about the 240 as well being the next target after that. But we're just going to stick to linear scale too, since it can't get above that 226 yet. So that's going to be the range really for this recent high and low. So we're really going to be focusing to see if weekly candles can continue to just build a base on top of this previous high. Okay, let's see. We have Clover Health. Yeah, so Clover, it looks like it's breaking out, right? It's breaking above the 200-week moving average too. So yeah, I mean, it's really good things are happening with it. We can see that now we can see if the 200-week moving average continues to hold as support, then it's going to go higher, right? And how high could it go? Well, I think it could even go up to this previous support here, really. Flip to resistance, right? So that is around $7. So yeah, it still possibly has a lot more room. If you just look at this chart, there's really no resistance here at all. So it could just float up there, pretty easily. But yeah, just watch that 364. If that holds, it's probably going to go higher. CLSK. So just looking at these these alone without any of the GAN on here, we can see clearly what's happening. It's breaking above resistance and it's continuation, right? It's continuing higher. So like the other ones, there's really no resistance until maybe the 12s or 13s up here. So I think that's exactly where it's going to go. Maybe to the previous candles here around like 1260 first, there could be some resistance. And then ultimately the 1319 up here, the 50-week moving average, and then the bottom of the cloud will be next around 14. So the momentum is kind of in the favor of going up now. So this is trending with Bitcoin, and I think the mid 12s will be the next target for CLSK. And let's see here, OKLO, OKLO. Yeah, so this one pre-market is gapping up a little bit, 1319, but it's gapping up right towards resistance of the bottom of the cloud. So it is a good thing getting on top of that baseline at 1208, but not sure if the 1380s up here, 1390s is going to break. So yeah, it has more room to go, it looks like. But you got to see in the weeks to come, the cloud does kind of slope down a little bit, so it could start to not break. So I can't really get bullish on this one until it's on the top side of the cloud. Then I think it has potential to go higher. But right now, yeah, it's gapping up and it has potential to go to the 1380s, maybe 14, but I'm not sure if it has more room to go than that. S. So I drew that line a while ago and it broke it, right? That line was broken, and we can see that it was kind of an important support zone in the past, and it was resistance before right here, but now it broke above. And I think if price ever did go back down there and test it, that could be an opportunity, like 2460s or even a little bit lower down to the low 24s. So it's looking like it broke through all that resistance and now it's support. And I think as long as the 24s hold as support, I think this has potential to go higher into the 29s, 30s, and possibly above. SOUND. So this one is going up a little bit too, pre-market, but still weekly candles are underneath the cloud. So 588 or a little bit above and into the sixes could be the resistance. And it's kind of like a little triangle here. We can see that maybe it'll break sometime, but you can't get more bullish, or I can't get more bullish until it gets on top of this cloud to go higher. So that target is going to be in the weeks to come above 588. Yeah, I'll look at in phase here. So pre-market is up 46. So I mentioned on the live stream last night, the triumvirate live stream, that I want to see if this just turns into a wick. Right? I want to see if that downgrade was just to liquidate all those stop losses down there, just to collect them all and then shoot it back up. Or if it really wants to close below and make a lower low from here and then continue to the arc below down here into the 70s, right? So either way is possible, but best case scenario would be just on Friday closing back above 100 and see what happens. But either way, high time frame, you zoom out, it's still a bullish market structure. It still would be a higher low from here if it did go back down to this zone to the arc. So that could be a possibility. But either way, I mean, I'm still in it. I think whatever happens, happens. It doesn't matter to me because I do like this high time frame chart. It's just kind of not bullish yet. It's kind of like Tesla where it's not making higher highs yet, you know? So it might just take more time. If it does close this week below, then it might take a lot more time to get bullish, right? Maybe into 2025. So we'll see. But either way, there are winners in the market. Focus on those in the moment. And once this one turns bullish, it'll go much higher. So my idea right now is just to accumulate the zone here. So I think it'll be bullish in the future, but just got to be patient. So, yeah, I already did MicroStrategy. Let's see, PLTR. Yeah, Palantir. There's no change at all, right? There's no change at all. So pre-market is 42.32. The arc down here does sit around 40.25, 40.50, around that zone. So I've been saying the whole time, it can do whatever it wants in this range, right? It can go to the 45, it can go down to 40. It's still just in the same range. And I think the only thing that matters to me is holding this angle. And as long as this angle will get held, then in time, it will get to the 70s, to the hundreds and above, right? So this is just a waiting game for me, and nothing goes straight up, right? I mean, this one sure kind of has. From August 5th, it's just kind of went straight up. But there's not going to be a green weekly candle every week. So this is the reality. And if this is red, it's okay. If next week is red, it's okay. But if it's still in the same range, then nothing has changed at all. Okay. And the market's going to open pretty soon here in 1 minute. ASPN. Yeah, ASPN, I mentioned on the video last night too, that I'm not sure if it's going to go higher, but sure enough, it's gapping up above that baseline again. So therefore, it is still in the range, right? My idea last night was maybe price is going to take some time and just drift towards the cloud. And right now, it doesn't really change that at all, right? It's still in between pre-market. It's in between the baseline and the conversion line. And more importantly, it's right in the middle of both of these arcs from the top to the bottom. So when it's in the middle of a range right like that, then I'm neither bearish or bullish. It's just a waiting game to see which direction it goes. And if it ever did come back down to my arc there, and the market just opened, if it did just come back down to the arc or the cloud, then I think that would be an awesome opportunity. Or if it ever broke through the resistance above, then I think that would be a great opportunity as well. So, but right now it's just in the middle, and there's really no direction at the moment because it's just consolidating until it's ready to go higher. Yeah, I'll do a crypto before we do a summary here. So here we go with Tau. I've been saying on my Patreon the whole time that 886 is the resistance here from the high to the low back in August 5th, and it can't break above, right? So the 886 here on log scale is pretty powerful, and got to make sure that breaks in order to go higher. Otherwise, it could come back down to this 555 or even test the top of the cloud. So this chart is still extremely bullish, but it, just like Palantir, maybe it needs some time to cool off, right? No big deal. Yeah, yeah, Aspen did jump up pre-market. Let's see, I'll do one more. I'll do SOFI here. And SOFI, yeah, I mentioned last night too, it's breaking above angles. And I think the most important thing to do we can see this linear scale 236. It's at 993, and that is the thing to watch, really. I think closing candles above it, or even better yet, above $10 would be best case scenario for a possible continuation. But we can see last time it kind of did the same thing here. It was up during the week, but then kind of closed that below the $10 range, and then it went lower. So we really need to, in my opinion, just on Friday for SOFI, it needs to close above $10 just to have possibility for continuation. But other than that, if it just becomes a wick up top, then the possibility to retrace becomes greater and greater. But I think this angle has a possibility of holding, and that's kind of around 960. So we'll see if that can be the case. So overall, that's all I can do for today. I got some other stuff I need to do, but we'll take a quick look at the markets here. So yeah, SPY, it's all flat, right? IWM is kind of breaking out a little bit, but still got to get above that 226 level. ARKK is up, Palantir is down a little bit, CrowdStrike is rebounding, and AMD, I think, will be fine. And how's Tesla? Yeah, it's getting back above that 221, but that's been the trend in the morning, right? Goes up in the morning, then goes down in the afternoon. So let's see if this 221 can actually hold for today. And yeah, all the miners are looking pretty good. Wolf is doing good. Core Z still going up. MicroStrategy is struggling with 200. Yeah, so just pay attention to those numbers, guys. And I think we'll see some good things. But with the SPY and the QQQ kind of getting rejected at resistance, it might take some time to break those levels. So thank you, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.